This is Case Keenum, ladies and gentlemen. As I thought about beginning this series on life coaching, I thought of Case, and I thought of the experiences that I know he has had in coaching all the way through his life. And I thought it would be thrilling to have him come and tell us a little bit about his pilgrimage in life. His wife, Kimberly, is here. Kim, stand up, would you? Kimberly, right here. I want you to see her. And as a young married couple, and as he's been brought up, and how God, in an amazing way, has brought him to the Texans. You know, he started the last two games, which we won at the end of the season, as our quarterback. And I just wanted you to know him and let him share a little bit with you his experience in being coached. Case, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Young. Thank you, guys. It's great to be back. I think I've been here once before. And don't tell the other campuses, but I think this is my favorite. So, and I didn't say that in all of them. I really didn't. So, no, it's good to see everybody. I think it's a little different here, but it's good to be here. Really, there's really nowhere else I'd rather be, guys, than, well, there may be one other place. And you guys got it a little quicker than the other groups did, but about 1,800 miles from here, Foxborough, playing the Patriots. But who knows? You know the story there. So, but it really is great to be here. And when Dr. Young said he was doing a deal on life coaching, I thought, yeah, I've had a lot of great coaches, and through my whole career, through my entire career, and really it's every single one of them have led me where I am today. Not just as an athlete, but in life. They've all been life coaches, and I know you guys have had coaches in your life that have been special to you as well. So I'm going to share a little bit about that with you guys. Really, not to list them all, but NFL-wise, I've had some great coaches, some brilliant coaches, some NFL-winning Super Bowl coaches, and then in college, I've had 6 actually Division I head coaches that have been my coach at one time. So all you Aggies and Baylor Bears and Red Raiders, you're welcome for all that. I think maybe the Longhorns, maybe that's your problem. I don't know. You think maybe? So come get you some there. No, but it's been great, and then even before college, I've had great high school coaches, and before then I can remember every single one. I've thought of every single one like a father, and I've got a great father, my dad and mom, and really that's where my coaching begins for me. Was my parents. Athletically, my dad taught me how to throw the football at a very young age. He was a football coach for a Division III school up in Abilene, and I wanted to be his ball boy. I wanted to be the guy helping, little kid on the sidelines helping the refs. And he told me I couldn't be the ball boy until I could throw that college football from all the way over here on the sideline to the hash where the ref stood. So I practiced as a little kid, chunking that ball that was bigger than my head, and really when I was able to do that, I stuck on the sidelines from then on, and that's kind of where my journey in football started. But it's something I've loved a long time, and my dad really was my first coach when it comes to that. And my mom really is where I get all my athletic ability from. She was a high school star. She ran track and won state in the hurdles and a couple relays. So my dad was actually an offensive lineman. So nothing against linemen, guys. I love any lineman out there. They get all the credit. No, they're my best friend for sure. But my mom is really where the true athletic ability comes from. But more importantly, not just athletically, my parents were really my life coaches spiritually. They set a standard in our home of a Christian home that was in church. As a Christian couple, they modeled what Christian marriage looks like. Something my wife and I definitely strive for to this day, and it's something that we're continuing to grow in. So I can't say enough about them. I can say a little more about my dad. My dad really taught me more specifically what it means to be a real man of God. Rejecting passivity, engaging with God, accepting responsibility, and leading courageously. I could tell you a million stories about him, just in how he taught me from accepting responsibility of when I got caught sneaking into the Wiley Swim Club, and I had to go offer to mow their lawn the entire summer, from then to accepting responsibility for that, for rejecting passivity. My dad rejected passivity. When my now brother-in-law, who is married to my sister, asked him for his blessing in her hand of marriage, he said no, which was awesome. I was like, yeah, go Dad, let's go. And it wasn't like a no, like never, but it was a no. I don't know you very well. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your family, your friends, your pastor. So he set up some meeting times and took them through the grill session. So I really learned a lot. And he wound up saying yes finally. But just a way of a godly man rejecting passivity and leading his family, something that I've taken with me throughout my life, and it's definitely led me to here. One of the biggest, though, this is one thing I wanted to share with you guys today. One of the biggest lessons I learned from my dad, really, I don't even know if he was trying to teach me a lesson, but just kind of him being him, was just being at my games. My dad, I played in 40-plus high school games, plus a million other, basketball and baseball, Little League and all that stuff before then, and he rarely missed any of those, but he didn't miss any of my high school, my 57 college football games, or my 22 now NFL regular season and preseason games. And he didn't miss one. And after every game, I can always count on him being right there afterwards to give me a big man hug and say, son, I'm proud of you, and I love you. And yeah, give it up for my dad. And no matter if I threw 9 touchdowns, six interceptions, went defeated for the whole season, went 0-8, or went undefeated, 2-0 for a whole season. It was the same. It was the same thing, and I knew that. And I don't say it braggingly. Well, I brag a little bit, I like to brag. I mean, I'm not saying my dad can beat up your dad, which he probably could. But no, I really say that as it's just a great example of our Heavenly Father that we all have, our Heavenly Life Coach. That His love is unconditional and He gives it freely. He gives His grace freely. It's just our duty to really, we just have to accept it. And that's what's so cool about that, and it's such a great life lesson, something that I've held on to my entire life, especially, kind of the roller coaster my wife and I have gone on the past year or so. So I'm going to tell you that story, but first I'm going to read Isaiah 40:31, really my favorite verse, one that's been a part of my life for a long time, and I'm going to share it with you today, but it's Isaiah 40:31, and it says, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength." I'm going to read that again. "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." And I love that verse. I love that verse, especially this year. What came alive to me this year was that word wait. I know a lot of you guys are probably in seasons of your life where you've had to wait on certain things, wait to know what God's plan for your life was. Well, my wife and I really seriously went through a time of waiting this past year. As most of you probably know, I got to live out my dream of starting in the NFL last season for the Texans for 8 games, and had some successes and some lulls, but it wasn't exactly how you plan it out. But it was an incredible time. But we had some changes on the team, had some coaching changes, and we're going to come into the new year. And I was experienced. I was ready to go. I was ready to fire all cylinders ahead with a fresh start and see what happened in 2014 with the season. But we got released. We got released a week before the first game, and we're kind of surprised. We weren't really sure what was going to happen. Knew God had a plan for our life from the beginning, and had been, had His hand on our, leading us and guiding us and directing us throughout it all. But we're pretty shocked. But before we could even really think, we were picked up by St. Louis the next day about 3 o'clock. I was on a plane at 7 o'clock, heading to play for the St. Louis Rams, and leaving my wife behind to pick up our stuff and move up there and start a new life. She did a great job with that, but we weren't sure. I was back down on the totem pole of the depth chart, and kind of when you go from playing, from starting, from living out my dream to sitting on the bench watching, it was still an incredible opportunity, and I love that the Rams gave me the opportunity, and I'm very grateful and blessed. But it's kind of like going from eating Bluebell ice cream here in Texas to whatever else they have up in St. Louis. It's just not the same thing, You guys know what I'm talking about back here. It's ice cream, but it's not Bluebell. And there's something about that cookies and cream or homemade vanilla even with the brownie or whatever it is. It's just not the same. So that's kind of where we were. I really wanted to play in the NFL and not just be a part of a team. So we were going to wait. We were going to wait on the Lord. And one thing about that word waiting on the Lord in that verse, I think waiting is not so much, guys, like we're waiting on our wives to get ready for church, which is well worth the wait, as you can see. But like twiddling our thumbs or going and starting the car or something like that. But more like waiting tables is what I kind of see, like a server would. We all live in Houston. We've all been to great restaurants and had great waiters. Some of you guys are probably waitresses or waiters, and I'm sure you're all excellent. And if I've ever had you, I'm sure it's been great. But no, it's you know what it's like when you're at a meal and you have a great server, and it's just your glass is never empty. The chips and queso are just never ending, and it's just it's a great experience, and they do it out of joy, and they may want the tip, but it's really out of joy, and it's a good time, and you could tell that they're really good at what they do, and I think that's the kind of waiting that this verse is talking to. Maybe not so much for an ulterior motive like a tip, but just out of love, out of the pureness of our hearts. And I think waiting and serving, and that's one thing we really concentrated while we were in St. Louis, serving. Where does God have us? What does He have us? Where does He have us serving right now? And for us, that was some friends we met that happened to be going through the same exact situation that my wife and I went through the year before playing. They got their chance to finally play in the NFL, and the ups and downs of playing NFL quarterback, and the ups and downs of being an NFL wife, and how to support your husband. And my wife was able to give a lot of good advice and pray with her, and I was able to hopefully help and serve and encourage him and how to go about that. So that's really what our waiting looked like in St. Louis. But we were still waiting. 8 weeks through the season, 8 or 9 weeks, we got put on practice squad, and we really wasn't sure what God had planned, but we still really wanted some Bluebell, and we hadn't had it yet. And so the end of the season kind of approached, and we thought, okay, well we'll go into the off season. We have some unknowns, but we'll rest in God and know that that He's had a plan for us. And with about 2 weeks left, I took a little hunting trip, and as most of you guys have probably heard, the report was that the Texans had called me while I was on my hunting trip. Well, the real story, I'll tell you guys the real story because I like you guys. But the real story is I was hunting, guys. And so any of you hunters out there know that Missouri, especially northern Missouri, is incredible white-tailed deer. Just great farmland, a bunch of corn, bean fields, and the deer, humongous down there. Make ours look like little dogs. So it's some great hunting up there. So I was on this hunting trip. I was on this beautiful piece of property of a friend that I had met. This beautiful little river kind of ran along this stretch of hardwoods that I was sitting in my climber with my bow, and there was a little bean field here, unharvested bean field that the deer really enjoy eating there. So I was sitting up in this great piece of hardwood, and I was going to kill my 12-point monster. And after I got settled in and didn't do anything but watch squirrels for a little bit, I decided to text my wife, and because that's what you do when you're bored and in the deer blind. And my wife texted and said, "Hey, I'm watching the Texans game, and I'm not trying to think about football. I'm trying to get football out of my head." And she's at home watching the Texans and said that Fitzpatrick had gotten hurt. And I'm like, "Oh no." Ryan's a good friend, and you hate seeing it happen, but it does. And then she kept texting me and said that Savage was limping, and our punter Shane Leckler was warming up, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, what's going on down there?" And I really wasn't sure. Honestly, we weren't praying. We weren't praying for this type of bluebell to happen. And we weren't planning to come back to Houston. Just kind of the truth of it. But an hour later, my agent called and said, "Hey, the Texans want to sign you, and you're probably going to start against Baltimore this week." And my heart jumped in my chest. Yeah, it was great news. It was. But yeah, my heart jumped in my chest. I can't explain it. The flurry of emotions that happened from that point on. I was on the phone pretty much the entire time with my agent and with my wife and family and some friends, and just kind of talking about what was going to happen. Didn't see any more deer, but got down and you guys know the rest of the story. I was on a plane, the next morning at 7 o'clock, headed back down to Houston. Again, left my wife to pack up our stuff and come on back down, which she did a great job again, of course. But No, yeah, give her a round of applause. It's not easy. It's not easy. I guess that was a wife that knows what it's like following her husband around. But no, I tell you that story for a couple things. One, when we truly wait on the Lord, when we truly wait and serve, honor, and obey, really obey this game plan. You know, this is God's game plan that He's given for us. Our life coach has given us, our true life coach has given us a game plan to follow. And when we do that, you know, He renews us. In our weakness, He comes in with His strength so that we can glorify Him. And I'm not saying that it's you know, He's going to answer the prayers exactly like you want or how you want or when you want, but you know, sometimes it's better. And that's Him renewing our weakness, in our weakness, His strength for His glory. So that's why I love this verse so much. And even going back a little further into verse 28, I want to read a little more into that. It says, starting at 28, "Have you not known, have you not heard, the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might, He increases strength." There's a good part here. "Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and even the young men shall utterly fall." That's us. We're punks. We're nobodies from nowhere. Abilene. Who knows where Abilene is? "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." That's what's so cool about that, is that because we wait on the one who does not grow faint or weary, we will never grow faint or weary. And He will mount us up on wings like eagles. Have any of y'all ever seen a real eagle flying in the wild? I don't see many hands, a few. Okay, a few more, there you go. They popped up when but no, it's awesome. It's magnificent. I'll tell you, I told you the hunting story, but I left out a part, and you can call it coincidence or whatever you will, but as I was sitting there in between phone calls in a quiet moment, you know, looking at the squirrels, I looked down this river bend, and I see this big bird coming around this river bend and just gliding, just gracefully, magnificent, awesome thing. It's a big black bird with a white head and white tail, I mean, it felt like forever. It was the calmest, most serene little thing you ever saw. For about 10 or 15 seconds, just glided all around that little river bend and went through the trees. I couldn't see it anymore. And it came back around and did the same thing going back. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's a bald eagle. And I called my farmer friend that I was hunting on his land. He said, yeah, we've seen him around. And I thought, that is so cool. I mean, this has just been my verse for a long time, and I didn't even really think about it at the time. But just looking back, like that really was God's hand, and just a confirmation of Him in my life and Him directing my path. And another thing, you know, you can call it what you will, but I think it's a pretty cool little reminder of what God's able to do and how He's able to do it. And so secondly, lastly, as I close here, appreciate that. As I close, this same God that renews our strength in our weaknesses, that's what I love about our God, is that I think He likes to use the underdog. I've been told a long time that I was too short. I wasn't good enough. I got one scholarship offer. I was undrafted. That He likes to use our weaknesses to glorify Him, to bring His strengths and make us adequate, make me adequate enough to do what I do. That this same God, He loves us unconditionally, that we don't have to earn it. It doesn't matter how many touchdowns you throw or interceptions or what job you have or how big your house is, that He loves us no matter what. And I think that is so cool. And if you take one thing away from today, I think it's that. And I think that same God that loves us unconditionally, He's ready to be your life coach. And all you have to do is ask. All you have to do is accept that. And but that's about all I have for you today. I'm gonna let Dr. Young close us out. And I thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you, buddy.